Hey everybody, it's Cyborg, and I'm joined by Temp with Temp, all the things that are going on, and we have Year 4, issue number 8 today for the complete Injustice review, or the Injustice comic book series review. So if you haven't been tuning in, definitely start back at the beginning. We have them all up there. We've been putting up each day, one issue a day, until we're completely done with the series, and then we'll go to the Injustice 2 comics once those start going around. So if you're just tuning in, thank you. First of all, and second of all, hey, like, subscribe, do all those cool things, but let's jump right into the comic here. We start off with Sinestro, and he is laying on the ground after being backhanded into oblivion by Superman. We thought maybe he'd go to Saturn, but nope, looks like he landed somewhere in the middle of a intersection. Some citizens are kind of wondering what's going on. Is he alive? Is he awake? What's going on here? Oh, he does wake up, and they're all kind of worried for his safety, and he says, don't worry, help is on the way, you know, stay down. And then he says, I don't need help. He gets up, makes giant hands, pushes everything, just completely obliterates everything around him. They all go flying. I'm sure some people probably died, because there looks like a dude that's probably like 40 feet in the air, 50 feet in the air behind him.
Well, his cars had to land somewhere, too, so...
Yes, so he probably just killed a few people there, and that's Sinestro being Sinestro. One of the guys even says jerk as he's flying off, and he's going back towards Superman because he's kind of pissed off that he repays him after saving him by getting backhanded. So when the war is over, he and I will have words, he says. So as he's flying, though, all of a sudden a lightning bolt crashes, and you have Billy there saying what happened. Zeus explains to him, look, you know, you only have your power because I allow it. You know what? No more power for you. And he picks Billy up by his shirt, like just kind of holds him up there, and he tells Superman that, you know, you either surrender now or I'm gonna start, you know, we're gonna punish you all, basically, and it's gonna start with old Billy here. And Harley's having none of this, and he says, let him go, Zeus. She runs at him, but Zeus is not going to allow this, and immediately a lightning bolt crashes down, and Harley's seemingly no more. We don't really see her.
What? I was like, and they make it very clear, because Batwoman fucking... Batgirl fucking says that was murder.
Yeah, and then... yeah, Catwoman says we have to do something. Bruce says, I know. And, yeah, I mean, we don't even see her body or anything laying there, so we're not really sure what happened to her. We just see her get hit by lightning, and then there's smoke and everything, but we don't see anything. So who knows? I mean, I doubt she's dead, obviously, but, I mean, she is hopefully on her pill. Hopefully she's protected.
We can hope so.
But, yeah, by all means, right now, it looks like she is no more. Anyways, we continue on, and they do surrender. Superman does surrender. And that's that. You see the gods, Zeus, or not, Zeus isn't the one saying it, Hermes is saying it, the messenger of the gods. And he's saying it on a news broadcast that Superman's no longer in control of Earth. You know, don't worship him. We, the gods, are taking our rightful place again, so it is the All-Father's wish. So we see that on the news broadcast. We cut to Lex Luthor, and he says he's speaking to somebody, and that person says, I need to speak to him, and he says, follow me. So kind of left off there. We go to the United Nations, and Sinestro is giving a little presentation, of all people. Like,
yeah.
Not sure what's up with that, but Sinestro is, yeah, giving a presentation to the United Nations, and he is not too thrilled. And then we go back to Lex. He comes up on Superman, so I'm guessing Ares is the one that was talking to Lex earlier. It's kind of, some of this is a little bit hard to follow, but yeah, because Ares is with Lex, and he tells Superman that he needs to talk. And Superman kind of says, like he's looking back like, yes,
yeah,
we will talk. But yeah, that's where that first chapter is left off.
Yeah, it is weird. Well, it's super fucking like he said, she said bullshit at this point, because Ares made a deal with Batman. Batman made a deal with Lex. Then we find out that Lex made a deal with Ares. But Ares double-crossed Batman. So I have no idea what the fuck's going on right now.
It's getting a little convoluted and a little hard to follow at this point, but yeah. It's a little messy. And then the next chapter, we start off with Ares, and he's telling a backstory. I'm not going to go through all the details, but he's essentially saying that he wasn't always the god of war, and no, it wasn't always about war to him, even though, yes, that's what he thrives on now, but, I mean, that's his lifeblood, but right now it is, he kind of explains that it was not always like this. He goes back to his origin, essentially, that he is the son of Zeus, and at one point he looked normal. He was just one of his normal god children, so to speak, and he was essentially trying to get his father to act in a war, and Zeus was going to stay out of the war of the gods, but Ares was saying, you know, a battle cry has been sent to the gods of all kingdoms, so we should really act here. And Zeus says, no, we're going to stay out of this. This is not our war. And Ares throws a big fit, and he's just kind of being very like pushy, angry, and sarcastic with Zeus, and disrespectful. Zeus does not take, I mean, he's patient through this, but then eventually I guess he's pushed past his breaking point, and he says, you know what, enough. Because I guess he gets called a coward by Ares, and that was the breaking point. But yeah, Zeus says, enough. You trample my patience with disrespect, all because of your insatiable thirst for battle. If your allegiance is to only war, let that be your identity. And he throws a lightning bolt at him. And then poof, his armor goes from a sheeny silver and gold to the black outfit that he wears now. The armor turns black, and he's all black with a dark face, red eyes, and everything. And he says, henceforth, you are the god of war. So, I mean, that's kind of the end of his little retelling there, but he explains that, you know what, he's manipulated this whole plan for Ares. His whole motivation is essentially to get back at his father for that, because he has not forgiven him for that, and now he's going to try and use Superman against Zeus. So bringing in the gods into all of this was merely a ploy to get, hopefully, Superman to retaliate and overthrow Zeus or kill Zeus. So we're seeing that all kind of play out here. And Superman is kind of pissed off at Ares and immediately jumps him, tackles him down to the ground, and says, where were you? I needed you before. And Ares explains that he's here now. Lex tries to get him to back off of him, and he says he's here to help. And Superman says, okay, well then how do I stop these Greek gods if they can't die? Which doesn't make any sense because he just killed one. So I don't know what that's all about, but yeah.
It's also confusing because now we know Ares made a deal with Superman too, so it's all sorts of tangled. He's
playing the field. Ares is just playing master manipulator right now. He is manipulating Batman, he's manipulating Superman, he's manipulating Wonder Woman, he's manipulating Hera, he's manipulating Zeus. It's just, there's not a single person that this guy is not pulling strings on to do his bidding for him. All for the sake of war and potentially to kill Zeus is the grand scheme, the be-all, end-all for him. But he explains, I would not trust Hades, but Poseidon's contempt for Zeus may help even the scales. So that's his suggestion to Superman that, you know what, turn to his brothers, because his brothers aren't always happy with Zeus either. And Hades is probably too untrustable, funny coming from Ares. But he does recommend that Poseidon would be a great way to turn for help. And then we cut to Themyscira, and Wonder Woman's talking to Batman. They're going back and forth, kind of bickering about, you know, him bickering at her for following Clark out of all this, and then her bickering to him that why, you know, you're really going to push it this far to make deals with Ares, and throwing everything that's happened and how that all went down into his face. And he says, you know, you really think I wanted it to go like that and turn out like this? And she said, you only wanted me to fight, or you wanted me to basically do what you could never do, and that's kill Superman. And he explains, yeah, I knew that you could always beat him, but I did not want you to kill him. I just wanted you I just wanted him to surrender, essentially, is what he's saying. And she counters back with, at what cost? Which is a great comeback there. All of a sudden, it's broken up by a giant earthquake, or what we're led to believe is an earthquake at first, but then they run out of the tent. Batman makes sure to put his cowl back on, his cowl back on, which doesn't make any sense because everyone knows who he is. So, yeah. But they look outside, and there is a giant tidal wave just about to overtake Themyscira. So, yeah. Looks like Poseidon accepted that offer.
Not looking promising for dudes in tents.
Yeah.
I don't know who they are, but they're dudes in tents, and they're not in a good spot right now.
Right, but yeah, that's where the issue ends. So, to be continued on the fate of Themyscira and how that whole thing is going to be played out, but not looking good for them, as you said, the dudes in tents. That is a ginormous wave.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
So a lot of things kind of happened here, but we got more backstory on Ares and his motivations, but like we kind of discussed earlier, is that there's he's made deals with so many people, and it's getting kind of confusing, but I mean, it did shed some light on why he's doing all this, why he's wheeling and dealing with all of these different people on both sides, is he has no allegiance to either side. He's merely here to play these people as pawns for the ultimate goal of his father's overthrowing or death, to get back at him for turning him into the god of war. So,
I didn't know that. I was not terribly familiar with Ares' origin, so that was kind of cool. Even though it is the highlight of the issue for me, they did take a while to kind of belabor the same point. I mean, he uses 13 dialogue boxes to say, I wasn't always the god of war, so it's not bad. The art's pretty good. Ares' face is a little inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's a little strange looking. No problems this issue. A little bit, some funny art. Really, this issue is more confusing than it was good or bad.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about Harley.
Yeah. I mean, it's doubtful she's dead, but yeah, we're left with nothing in terms of what happened to her, other than them claiming it was murder. So, in their eyes, clearly she's dead, but we kind of go away from that, so we don't really know what the follow-up is there. I'm sure we'll get it in the next issue. But right now, this was more of an Ares issue, which is nice, because he's actually, so far in year 4, has been Ares' year, if anyone's, in terms of fleshing him out and giving him a little bit more of a thing to do other than immediately getting his ass kicked. So,
and joining random teams.
So yeah, it's nice to see him get some more love in that regard.
I guess on a final note, maybe you can help me out here. Sinestro is, right after he escapes the cars, he's flying back and he says, when this is over, I will have words. And then he gets blasted by a bolt of lightning. Was that from Zeus?
I believe
and then we see
so.
Billy Batson, and we never see Sinestro again until the United Kingdoms or the United Nations, wherever he was.
I don't even know if he gets hit by the lightning bolt. You see the lightning bolt come down, and he's kind of like shocked by it, and he puts his hands up, but we don't see him get knocked down or anything. He's just kind of shocked, and then the next thing, Billy's in front of Zeus, and you even see a speech bubble or a thought bubble from a carryover from Sinestro, because it has the little Yellow Lantern logo, and it says Zeus, and it's left at that. That's all. So clearly he doesn't jump in at any point there.
Okay. So he's chilling on the sidelines then.
Yeah,
I guess
I
that's
think he's
what I
picking
missed
his
with that
spots.
box there.
Yeah, he's picking his spot, essentially. He realizes now is probably not the best time to jump in.
Yeah, no, he's true to form Sinestro. No more pretense. I like to see that continue, just to see how Superman handles that. But that's all I got. Not a whole lot to say about this issue.
Yeah, it's still building. It's just all building to something. But yeah, and the next thing we get from Sinestro is back at that United Nations meeting. But yeah, so we're getting a little bit more Sinestro again, and we're getting more Ares, and we're getting more Lex Luthor. I think they're the kind of stars of this particular year. And then obviously sprinkling some other characters, of course, for the supporting. But those are the characters so far of year 4 that stand out the most. And yeah, like you said, this one raised more questions than it did answer anything. Other than Ares' play, I guess, obviously clearly got answered. So that was nice. But Yeah, it wasn't really raising this. It wasn't raising anything. It wasn't building too much. It was just kind of, it was plateauing once again. Wasn't a bad issue. Wasn't a great issue, but it was still solid in its own way. So it's just kind of there.
Yeah, not quite filler, but not anything groundbreaking.
Right. Absolutely.
Unless Harley actually is dead, then I guess that's groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But I will see.
Yeah. Sure. All right. Well, then you guys take care. That'll do it for this issue and this episode as well. Check out issue and episode number 9 of year 4. We'll have that for you tomorrow. You guys take care. Thanks for watching.
Later, peeps.